What is up, my people? That's the wrong one. Welcome back to the LuxAlgo live stream. My name is Jacob. How we doing? Back with another week here to stream every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. Welcome back. Man, I just didn't even have my screen set up on my chart there. We'll have to get back into that later. The prize is 3 times 100,000 this week. Only if that was a thing. Only if we could do that. That'd be awesome. But it's good to see you back, Fame. See some familiar faces in here for sure. Got Alex. Good to see you, Jockey. Good to see you, Jack, as well. Good to see you guys. Vincent, how you doing? Good to see you. Man, Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin, 43,000. Remember we talked about that breakover to 42K would probably have that nice push into 43 plus. Now, you know, we got a swing point at the target. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But to start us off, you guys know the deal. We got to get into the wheel of analysis. So if you are new here, well, we throw up a wheel like this. We put on things that you want to see, right? So whatever you want analyzed today, throw it in the chat. I'll write it on the board. We'll try to stick with things we've looked at before that we think could be good to review, as well as things that we haven't touched on. But remember, every day, 1 p.m. Eastern, we come back and we make sure to touch on new things and also things that we see move. So in this case, starting us off, we're going to do the pound and the JPY, Jason, just for you. Let me make sure I get this against the JPY. Okay. All right. We got Solana on the board. We got PayPal. Let me scroll up here a bit. Sorry, guys. Let's do Solana. Solana. We got Avalanche. I like that. We got some Avalanche. We got GBP CHF. We might look at that with GBP JPY. I'll just have to remember, okay? So make sure you let me remember. We got Bonk again. Bitcoin, obviously, guys, we're always going to go over Bitcoin in any of the majors. Just remember that. Bitcoin will be analyzed first. So stay tuned for that here shortly. Ethereum will be also analyzed. Bonk. We went over last time. Well, maybe Bonk. Let me see what else you guys got for me. Dot. I like Dot. We can do Dot. I'm going to put PayPal on there, too. What else we got here? What else we got? Bonk, still Bonk. Manta, we went over Manta last time. Ethereum will be gone over. We can do the Euro USD. Manta was cool. Please ignore that was terrible writing, but that's Manta. Pancake, I don't know about that. Gold will be gone over. Don't worry about that. Remember, any of the majors we will be going over. LXC, let me look it up. Is that I'm not gonna. Is LXC the stock? What did he say? Which one? Who? Hines? Oh. Jason, I asked first. Don't forget me. Tesla and Nvidia. Oh, I got you up there at the top. I know somebody said PayPal will do that for sure. We could do, I think Tesla versus. Yeah, let's look at Tesla. It's a little bit better just because Nvidia is still on this major run. So Nvidia is not as much. LCX, EOS. I got you, bro. Remember, guys, we're gonna go over more tomorrow as well. Or he delete there. Just spamming the US 100. We can do that. We got Manta on there. Well, sorry, US 100 is a Nasdaq. Forgive me, it's Monday. I'm getting into this. Matic. I like Matic. Remember, we'll always go over the majors. We're going to go over Ethereum for sure. Alt ICP. I'm just looking at this. Sorry, one sec. I like ICP. I'm assuming it's a coin. All right, guys. We have filled the board for now. If we have more time to go over things later, we will obviously touch on those. But again, guys, anything major-wise, Bitcoin, gold, oil, Nasdaq, Ethereum, we'll always start with those, okay? So if you're new to the stream, that's what we always start with. Now, guys, on the board there, trying to think if we got Solana. We'll always touch on all those. We gave some extra time this time around to be able to possibly go over more. So depending on the analysis, we'll talk about it. Real quick, let's hop into the news this week. Let's see. Tomorrow you have the CB Consumer Confidence, 10 a.m. Big numbers, man. A lot of people watch Consumer Confidence, especially if you trade Forex and U.S. markets, but should affect Bitcoin as well. So pay attention to that, 10 a.m. And that's really all we have to worry about 10 a.m. tomorrow. Let's see. Later this week, though, we have FOMC, guys, on Wednesday. Sorry. FOMC Wednesday after non-farm employment on Wednesday as well. So the rest of the week we'll look at tomorrow. But for now, FOMC Wednesday. And then tomorrow we have 10 a.m. consumer confidence. So be careful with that. Now, next up, we had a lot of earnings this week, of course. The earnings coming in tomorrow, pre-market, nothing too crazy. Pfizer, maybe. UPS, maybe. But again, after close, AMD, Microsoft, Alphabet, huge. Alphabet is Google, for those of you that don't know. But AMD, Microsoft, and Google. Starbucks, obviously, they sell coffee. I guess they could maybe have something in the crypto space. Not too familiar with that. Probably not. But in this case, AMD, Microsoft, and Alpha are going to be really important. Boeing on Wednesday. That's going to be a very interesting one due to all the news that's come out recently. If they're looking okay, maybe we'll get a nice price bounce. That'd be really sweet to see. Nothing really Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, we have Apple, Amazon, and Meta. Huge tech this week. Peloton before open. Friday, some more oil stocks, but huge tech coming out on earnings this week. So, yeah. You guys, if you're new here, our goal is to get 100 likes per stream, so smash that like button. And also, if you want daily analysis around the clock during weekdays mostly, go check out our Twitter at LuxAlgo. We're posting daily analysis on there. And honestly, the guy that we have running this, a fantastic TA. He does a very good job on these, and it'll give you a little bit of insight of what we're looking at for these current moves. So, besides the stuff we do on the stream there, you can get more information on the LuxAlgo Twitter for things we are watching. Next up, Google updates policy to allow Bitcoin and crypto trust products to be advertised. That's huge for people that are, a lot of these ETFs coming out and people that are using that tech to start more, to honestly get more people into the crypto space. So it's huge for Google. Been doing that. BlackRock now holds 52,000 Bitcoin, over 2.18 billion for their spot ETF. Absolutely insane. Next up. All right, we got 2 minutes, guys. We got to decide on what we are giving away this Friday. Now, first off, we could give away something other than cash. Now, I know a lot of you guys want the $300 giveaway, but let me entice you a bit. We can honestly order anything on Amazon. It just depends on, obviously, your location of the winner, and we will discuss that via the winner. But first up is we could get you a pair of AirPod Pros if you want some AirPod Pros. We could also get you something that's, relative to this price point. Doesn't have to be AirPods. It could be a completely different thing. So if that's something you would like item-wise, we could totally do that. We also could get you a 3-monitor setup for your laptop for you traders out there that want a decent setup. And for those of you, I would like a side chick. Okay, sounds good. I don't know if you can get those. Well, not on this website at least. But in this case, that's nothing we endorse over here. But in this case, guys, you can also get you a laptop, 3 monitors setup if you want. But this is another cool thing I saw. You can get these little ticker desk table things. You can put, I don't know if it's probably linked to something. So you can probably put Bitcoin and stuff on it. But we can also give away 3 of these things if you want, or we can give away a few of them. Or we can give away cash. So starting off really fast with the quick poll. Do you want a, let's see, cash or an item? Cash item. I'm going to give you a quick poll here. Give me a vote, my friends, really fast, and then we'll discuss on what we go for next. All right? Give you about a minute here. You got 10 seconds, depending on how many votes come through. Ooh, people actually, I'm surprised by the items. Let's see. But yeah, a lot of fun items we could do in this case, right? There's a lot of fun things. It doesn't have to be these 3 items, okay? It can be anything up to that $300 value if we were to give away one of those. So preferably on Amazon, of course. So that would be essentially the move, right? Seeming like cash is the winner. All right, love it. So remember, guys, this Friday we're going to be giving away $300 in cash. Now, for the next poll, really quickly before we get into the charting. That's pretty obvious. 64% cash makes sense. Here we go. We're going to say, how should we give away 300? One $300 winner, or 2 or 3. There you go. All right, I'm gonna leave that up for a little bit, guys. This is for this Friday, and I should have kind of edit this. Whatever. So this is for this Friday. Of course, you got to tune in this Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, to be able to enter for the giveaway. Last time went phenomenal. We got the payments out in 24 hours to the guys. So those of you that won, thank you. Thank you for entering, and hope to see you in the stream come this Friday. So, guys, let's get... Oh, really quick, before we get into it. Does anybody want a medium sweatshirt? There we go. Does anybody want a medium LuxAlgo sweatshirt? We might give that away as well with the with one of the winners. Maybe do a separate thing. It's a medium. They gave me the wrong size. We ordered another one. Been wearing a medium all week, so it's just one right now. But I can give it away to you guys, so you'll just have to make sure you tune in. But let's get to our charting segment. We have one right now. Please ignore that this is the wrong screen. So 1 second. Get over to our Bitcoin. There we go. Bam. All right. Get that music down a bit. You want a shirt? Yeah. We're gonna have merch at some point soon. Hopefully this year. We'll keep you guys updated on that for sure. But it's all gonna come down to quality. We want to make sure we're giving you guys some quality items. So we don't want to give you anything too bad. But in this case, guys, Bitcoin. This is ICP. Let's hop over to Bitcoin on the weekly chart. Now, remember, we talked about this quite a bit all last week, right? We've been watching this for a while, and we said that we wanted that bounce off, above 38K. We did want to get the full 38 bounce, but didn't happen. But now, we're back over 43. Now, the biggest thing we were watching was potential resistance around 42,000. Now, in this case, we actually end up breaking it quite well there on Friday, like we were discussing. And we came back, found support, right? We found support in this case off of that, 42,000 rough mark, 42.17, 41.7 on there. Came up, hit a new high, came back, retraced it again. Now we've broken back out. This level here lined up absolutely perfect on Bitcoin with these highs, right? Remember, we talked about this on Friday. These are the highs that we watched. This is exactly what we wanted. Held support and broke out through 43K. Now, you are testing a 4-hour order block in this current moment, but this is something I really do like on the 4-hour is this turning point that occurred on this candle here. So sometimes we wait for that for a break of structure, and we're getting that break of structure now, right? So in this case right now, we're bullish on the 4-hour. It has shown support, and it has broken out. But in this case, though, we still have another resistance in play right now. So if you weren't long down here off the 42,000, like we talked about last week, and now this is on the 4-hour time frame. On the higher time frames, we're still looking pretty good. If we go to like the weekly, like we said, it's still been bullish, especially setting up above that 40K mark. We did want a little bit of a retracement on the oscillator here, but it's holding its own, to be honest. It's holding its own. And we've been looking for that 50% move since last year in the halving. And look at this, though. This is even better. Seeing this thing come all the way down, extended, and now back to that 50% level. That's something that, we can really take into account for possible continuation. Now, this confirmed kind of swing low here. You can see the fib didn't come into much of a reaction, but you mostly want to pull a Fibonacci from the overall lows. In this case, you can see we started to bounce off of that level. The biggest reason we wanted the retracement all the way down to 38 roughly was because of these highs. It did come down to 38,500 and bounce pretty nicely. So now, essentially, what we're watching for, and for those of you that are new to the stream, we like to see, if we were to actually show a downtrend, a reject off of this bearish change of character that happened here. But that didn't occur, right? It blew right through it and it created an imbalance. So if this were the case on this daily, we either want this to get broken first, which I honestly would rather have that broken first, and then a retracement back to the 43K level, right? So if that can get broken, where it comes out up here, and then retrace to that 43. Off 43, I might consider a, if you're not in this, like a, buy, let's say, for the high 48s. But, this has been on such a tear recently that for those of you that are long-term investing, it's an interesting place to be. I would say anything below 40,000 was that buy that we were targeting for now. So up here, it's kind of rough to say, especially if you're a newcomer, to buy it. If you are looking for any long-term investment strategy, I would, especially for crypto, consider looking into just buying a little every week because of the price fluctuations. But if you're a trader, in this case, we definitely want to clear that 43,500 level. The high of this swing point is 43,569. Now, this is on Coinbase. Of course, the pricing is a little bit different. So I would honestly, on other exchanges, but I'd honestly say 43,600 would be a great price point. Now, for those of you that have been here, we draw this almost every single time. But if I were to bring in the fixed range profile from this range that it hit, which happened here, make sure that did hit, yeah, happened there. You can see we're right at the point of control on the daily chart, right, which is good. Seeing that point of control get broken, and now upper target would be 44K, right? Yes, Robert, awesome. See, guys, Robert was a winner last week, and we wanted to make sure we got it to you guys within 24 hours. I'm glad that he said something to make sure you guys know that our giveaways are legit, especially on the first one. So we appreciate you entering and being here on last week there, Robert, and hope to see you again on Friday. But guys, we're at the point of control on that daily chart from that just small range we were in. But the biggest thing we were watching was this weekly rally that we had here and holding up over, right, this value range. And this is what we got right now. You can see here we've been holding fine over the 38 roughly spot. It's actually interesting. This looks like it changed a bit. I want to see. Based on the volume, I guess, that came through. It was this one that went into that range. Or maybe I was thinking, oh no, sorry. I was thinking of Ethereum. Ethereum is a different read here, but you can see the top of that value range is sitting around 38K, right? So seeing this, right, is a good sign. This is an area in which volume or liquidity is a little bit lower, which means buyers can take control and kind of move this price if they want. Now, that's the weekly chart, right? So on the daily, like we said, we're sitting right at the point of control. I really, for proper structure change, would want to break over that 43,600 mark, okay? That's really important. Now, this is another thing to take into consideration. If we were to get a retracement on the downside here, you can see that we are coming into the 50% retracement off of the high for the bearish side of things. We also, which is quite interesting, and this is where, if you are long, a target right now in short term is 44K. The biggest reason is you have a sell side imbalance coming off of these orders right here that were left over from that sell-off back on the 12th. Now, the only big reason I don't like this either is besides that imbalance there, we also have this right here. We have several levels of resistance forming right above that 44,000 mark. So I would just be very careful on this area once we get into 44K. But for now, I think we're fine to get up to that mark. But again, guys, I can't stress this enough. News is no matter what, even in crypto, general news information on the entire market is very important. So we have consumer confidence at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and then this week we also have FOMC. So just know those things could spike volatility in these markets, could drive prices higher, could drive prices lower. It's something to kind of just keep in mind as you're going about your day. So definitely focus on that when you're looking this week at potential trade opportunities. Now, Ethereum. Nice little bounce here off of previous level of support. Now it's fine. It's held up very well. We've also said, that we were watching these highs here, this imbalance, that break of structure, all forming at that level there of around 2200. And we found that clean support. We're breaking back out. This one, in my opinion, does look a little more bearish than Bitcoin does. Sadly, I wish it didn't, but in this case, coming from this high, you're getting a similar setup to where this kind of the golden ratio is lining up at resistance. The only reason I don't like this one as much as I do Bitcoin is because Bitcoin has actually swept these lows and Ethereum hasn't. So it's very possible that Ethereum could go up, reject, try to sweep these lows. But in that case, maybe it doesn't, because they're going to follow pretty closely. So we definitely need to focus on where it might go from there. I can kind of up my mic a little bit if you want. Let me move it closer to my mouth too. Sorry if I sound a little low. But again, Ethereum up here at 2,400, definitely a price point we're going to be considering a possible resistance just due to that imbalance and this previous resistance. Very similar to Bitcoin, right? But 4 hour. We go on to look at. Another interesting thing is the amount of selling that occurred through these lows here, right? And went to retest those lows. In this case, let's even look here on the signals and overlays. Right now, notice we have a smart trail inside of a bearish neo cloud. So I'm going to definitely want this thing to break out of it, right? I want this thing to break out of that smart trail and then show me that it actually wants to clear this Neo here at the highs, which is sitting at 23,070 or 2,370. Sorry, but in this case, this imbalance is pretty much all the way filled. Yeah, all these little imbalances, they're gonna get formed. If you want to break down how much volatility you need or how much volume you need, that'll cut out the little guys, as you can see there, by just increasing the volatility threshold to 0.5. But I essentially like to see everything. It just makes it easier to make sure I'm identifying every level of imbalance. But in this case, it's pretty straightforward on Ethereum. We definitely want to see if this thing can hold value here, go retest the 2,400 before considering any side, right? That's the tough part. But if you were a range trader short term, you took your best bet was taking longs under 2,200 just because of this support holding. But again, I even don't like this current price action, so we'll see if it wants to continue or not. On the weekly, though, this is what we were discussing before about the volume profile was the minute this thing came into play, you can see here, this is the top of the value range at 2462. So we thought originally when we were targeting these levels up here, 2,500 was our overall target on this first run. And 2,500 ended up, hitting, rejecting, not really wanting to go much higher. You had a high of 2,700. But again, you can see where price was holding and pretty much having the main resistance was around 2,500. Now that is price point for a big bull case. There is 2,500 yet again, breaking and holding on Ethereum here. So for now, you know, a lot of consolidation in this high volume range here, hoping to get up over that 2,500 mark. Okay, so jumping over to the Nasdaq really quickly, you can see here we already have previous drawings, but in this case, what is up, man? All the way from Portugal. I appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning in. Guys, let's try to get it to 100 likes. You know the ordeal. We're at 45. The goal of the day is always 100. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, honestly. But right now, it looks like the current winner is 3 $100 winners yet again. Maybe one of these days, y'all will vote the 100 winner or the 300 winner single. But in this case, guys, we do have Apple on Thursday, and Edward will go over it. But again, Apple on Thursday, that's all that matters this week. Apple price action, it's not going to really matter until Thursday, so I would wait on that. We have Avalanche on the board, as you can see. We're going to go over Avalanche here in a little bit. But for now, let's look at the Nasdaq because we look at all the major, or actually, let's start with gold. Well, I already had this up. We'll start with Nasdaq. We're going to go over gold next in this case. Now, this is pretty straightforward. Not many... not really a worry in this case. Now, as you can see, price is trying to hold. Now, that we need a retracement on the oscillator, which we're getting on the 4-hour, right? We're getting on that 4-hour. So if I go to the daily here, you can see, though, it is setting a lower high from this previous high, implementing a little bit of divergence. We did get a divergence form roughly here. We came back to show if, resistance wanted to play out, and it didn't. We didn't really get a turning point happening here, which is something you can use to identify if that was actually going to be a lower high, which didn't form. There was no turning point similar to this that occurred on this candle. You just got a nice bull candle strictly after that. So in this case, we broke out aggressively. Now we're trying to form a small retracement. Look today, even getting bought back up. And, coming back over to the 17.6 rough level. But if we go to that 4-hour, yet again, let's take a look here. Nice little pullback on the, what's it called? As you can see here. And yeah, Geometry Dash, go check out that link right there. You can type in price action on our free indicator library and see some free tools that are related to what you're looking for. But in this case, guys, on the daily here, the Nasdaq 4-hour, you can see here, and I guess my data subscription didn't renew. I have to go check that out. It is slightly delayed right now, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. Still has some majority daily price action, but holding over that previous high. So that's that's pretty important. We did get a change of character. We did get a reject of that. Money flow was still bullish though. So on this 4-hour time frame right now, I would want to see this high break of 17,632, and then I might like to trade a continuation to the upside. But for now, this, what do you see here? You see similar to a bull flag kind of formation. I would honestly have wanted it off of this massive move here, right? But in this case, the price action is all the same. Price action is all the same in this case. So this starting to form a potential breakout is pretty good. So see after this 4-hour reset, I would say so long it holds up over this high here of, so let's just say 17,500, you'll probably get a continuation into this upper order block of 17.7. So keep an eye on that with the 4-hour. But overall, this has had a massive rally recently. So, but we're not looking to, necessarily get out of this thing until it, tells us otherwise, right? With the, if we were to pull up these signals, on this as well, with the signals and overlays indicator, you can see we had a, trend continuation signal, and it's probably a 3. Let's see, boom, there you go. 3 trend continuation signal formed recently before this major breakout, and you were still holding strong on the price action. And the bullish green candles. So we'll see with that if it wants to actually continue. But money flow is super strong. You're getting that overflow. Everything's lining up for this thing to actually continue. So we'll wait till we get something similar to like this 2 signal to actually consider this thing coming off of these highs, right? Now, remember guys, this Friday, $300 giveaway. Go vote above. Make sure to come back on Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be giving, you have to be in the chat, active, and subscribed in order to be a winner. So make sure to tune back in on Friday. All right, let's jump over to gold real quick. Mr. Gold. All right. Gold. Gosh, this thing's not going anywhere. All right, we've been watching gold for quite a while here, right? Weekly chart, we talked about this, holding over these highs. I mean, we haven't seen any change in price action. Any change in price, it's still the same. We wanted to see this bullish price action a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of this candle, but we'll see if it comes back down here. Maybe to retest this low. I'm not a huge fan of where this is at right now on the weekly. More than likely, it should come off of that and actually create a lower wick. But maybe not. We'll see. It's already showing a high upper wick, but we do have 3 hours left on this daily candle. But in this case, you're getting somewhat of a vibe of this thing is consolidating downward to potentially continue upward. So long as price, once again, holds over 2,000, like we talked about in every stream, this thing does not want to go anywhere. Then that's what I would be watching for. I don't know why that went away. But 2,000 is the major mark right now. Let's dive into a lower time frame so we can actually see a little bit of what's going on here. But in this case, yes, yet again, candle did close above this high, but not aggressive enough to consider this actually an active change of character. Because what do we say on stream a million times is we want to see price flush through a level, give us that change of character, then show support or resistance over these structure points. When you see multiple structure points, lows sweeping on either side, highs sweeping, high swept there, low swept there, you're pretty much stuck in consolidation, which then you can do stuff like, apply the reversal zones in this case. But, we can look at this. So in this case, I would look at these for the reversal zones, then probably turn on the contrarian. Hold on. Contrarian signals is always good for choppy markets, right? It's going to help you kind of identify where potentially extended levels are, okay? So they have it optimized at 16. And then let's turn on contrarian gradient and kind of see what's extended, right? So I would utilize this with the overall oscillator in this sense. So in this case, the minute you get an opposing signal, right, because you're in a range, you wait till you probably see a turning point in an extended range like this on the oscillator. You get that there. That essentially would be your playoff. Here on this one, you can notice it's not extended yet. In this case, this went up, right? Got a turning point here. It was extended, and it came back. This is where you play off those ranges, right? So essentially, you that's what you want to look for when you're trading roughly ranges and features you can enable to trade the ranges like this. But for long-term wise, we're still bullish on this move here. I'm going to reset this. We're still bullish on the weekly chart, which is where we pretty much watch for these longer term trades. It's holding over those highs. As long as 2K holds, we think it's gonna go retest at least 2,700. But again, remember the conflicting fair value gaps was the biggest thing. We had an FVG sitting here, a bullish FVG sitting here, conflicting price action. This is gonna have this low. If that low breaks, like we talked about before, this low is gonna get tested of 1980, but notice this low is sitting right at 2K, so that's where it's like really, really rough. So again, I need proper structures changing on the daily for me to actually consider a trade on this. But for now, leaning more bullish than we are bearish, but not by much. It's like probably like 60-40 maybe. So just with these conflicting imbalances. So we'll kind of see where gold ends up going at some point. Let's see. It's another major, we said crude oil. All right. That's something I wanted to discuss today because remember, whoever was trading crude oil with me, we talked about this week, right? This order block on the 4 hour hitting 79. We were going to take some off right at 79. Guess what? We flushed 79. We hit a high of 79.29, right? So pretty much hit our target almost exactly. Actually went above it a bit there. Yeah, so it got real close to hitting on the dot for us. But we did take off positions at this high of 79. And, now it's a matter of potentially holding for a continuation of this trend. But this was our biggest trade so far this month, this is all me, sorry, not ours. my biggest trade this month, gold, taking it from these low 70s, driving into this upper order block of 79. We've been discussing it on stream every day. So, that's what we looked for. Now, obviously, I like to hold some to see if structure wants to hold. If now, because we're in the low we entered in the low 70s, our structure or literally stop loss in this point is below this high point here, roughly $76, $75. So if we get and show low 75s, we'll probably be out of the position. It just depends on how the price action is showing. But for now, holding on strong for the rest of our position. At least half of our position has been closed at the $79. So not a bad trade from the low 70s if you guys were in with us on that. So now for a continuation, we want to hold over this change character at 76, 75. That's what we're watching. And then looking for that breakout of 80. But perfect target and why you look for order blocks to target, especially 43% ones, right? Heinz said, do you guys still use multi-timeframe order blocks on the 1 hour chart? Absolutely. It comes down to how you look at it, but for our general analysis right now, we're doing the charting of each time frame's order blocks just to kind of see. But again, if you wanted something to do like that, I could copy the price action concepts guys multiple times for those of you that are new to these indicators. And again, if you want to learn more about these indicators, make sure you join the free Discord. Mickey does a live stream every single day in there, goes over features with the indicators. Okay, so that's more where we present all of the indicators, how to use them. But in this case, if I wanted to see like 4 hour, we're on the 4 hour, right? Yeah. If I wanted to see daily order blocks on a 4 hour chart, I can just wrong one. Sorry. I can go down here to order blocks. I can go to chart, or it says chart under time frame. I can put on the daily. On another instance of price action concepts, then I can do it again on here, order blocks. I go to chart. I can say, weekly, wherever that is, 1 week, boom, 1 week. Now I can see, look what happened this here. And then obviously, if you want to identify these differently, I can, we consider the 4 hours. I think this is, we consider the 4 hour golden order blocks, right? And then the daily, remember I made this before, it was purple. Purple. For the daily order blocks. In this case, as you can see here, looking at a 4 hour time frame, that's where we rejected was that 4 hour order block, and it was also inside a daily order block, right? So in this case, hey Mickey, also anytime you click Discord, say Discord, it'll just pop up. I got that set up for us, so should be good. But look at him, he's just commanding the bot. Are you there, by the way? You're muted. Okay, I was wondering. But in this case, guys, there you go. That was our target and how you can implement multiple order blocks to consider the different levels you can watch in different time frames. Right. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna make this. Let me go back to the color it had. All right. In this case, though, let's dive into our first ticker that you guys recommended. What we got first? We got DOT.USD. All right, Polkadot. Polkadot with an absolute hammer of a volume candle. Not a hammer candle, but massive volume. Let's go to the weekly first. Look at Polkadot. All right, so I think we've gone over this before, but here you go. This is by far... And I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back on the stream and talk about this a little bit more. But from what I recall, is we talked about this $6 level. We talked about $6 below 6 was a good buy in this sense because we wanted to see it bounce off of this change character. As you can see, this low of this candle hit $5.96. So, that hit that imbalance as well. Everything lined up. So this is what we say about everything lining up really well, is especially on like a weekly time frame. You have a, lovely golden pocket sitting right here between 587 and 730, right? So, we wanted then even better, you had an imbalance sitting here between 563 and 628. So seeing that, and then you had this as well, this change of character that formed in a previous high, right? And then there you go. That's pretty much like a golden spot to consider value, was below this low here all the way down to these highs. So right in that sort of imbalance there. And I just went off of it. Sorry. On the weekly time frame. So the other awesome thing here is this thing was clearly at a pretty strong support level for Polkadot. It came down here. It was struggling in this area. Honestly, you know what? Let's just pull in that anchor or fixed volume profile here. It entered this level on this candle. And we can see here, yet again, it's bouncing as well as a point of control. I mean, it's just... everything was lining up perfectly for the buys in the mid sixes, if not down to $6 or lower. Lines up perfectly. We have now, roughly $1.50 bounce. We're hoping, the whole crypto market can continue with this. But if we go to the daily, this is the only thing that's interesting. I do want to pull up volume to kind of see where our volume's at. Now you can see here volume was fading quite a bit from this peak, right? It was fading. You had spikes here and there, especially with sell-offs. But notice today, it's already, we still have 5 hours left in the day, and this thing is already at 4 million on the day in volume. So it's a really good sign from this from that low for potential continuation. Now, daily wise, you can see here on Polkadot, you're still in a downtrend, right? I will say there's a decent bullish sentiment on this due to the trend it's in, due to that weekly bounce we talked about, as well as lining up with this flushing that low and bouncing off the previous resistance. All great signs to continuation. But now you would be at the top of this general channel on the daily. So that's why we consider this high right here would be a good spot to consider a level to keep an eye on. $7.30. If we can break out of that with another large volume day, which would be very important, right? Essentially, the large volume we need to see is, I'll take this off now. Sorry, give me a second. Is something similar to, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Let me take off. It's something similar to this right here, right? You had 1 and then 2, right? You had 2 step up days. You had this candle, this candle. Notice this candle though, large wick to the upside. I would like to see this volume like this on a large body candle like this. So that's pretty much what you would want to wait for actual confirmed breakout in this case. But look at this as well. As you can see here, this here is a 1 week chart. Let's just make it lime green so we know. This is quite interesting because notice a daily chart lining up with a lime green, which is the weekly, which is also got rejected, as well as now it came off of that. So oscillator has fully reset, as you can see here, which is really good. Essentially now what we would watch for is a breakout, creating another change of character similar to that, but on the upside, right? Getting that change of character, and then this thing coming into this up here, having a turning point, and then going like that, right? That's something that you want to watch for. It's going to look like this, right? That's what you would want to look for on Polkadot. What's great here is that this oscillator, the oscillator matrix, is already trying to break out of this high. So if this volume continues, this lower high is going to get broken. No more lower low in this case, unless it gets a full-on reject with news. But you have the makings of a great reversal right now. We just need to see some structure break. So great job if you took it on the weekly below that at $6, below 650. But if you got in the high fives, man, that was a great little entry there that you had on Polkadot. So great job. Let's go to the next one. All right. Give me something good. Tesla, would you imagine the Google Bitcoin update has more effect? It is quite interesting. Definitely a good effect in the fact that people can advertise now through Google, which is great. Something about Mana if we'll close above 3.7. Yeah, we'll be looking at Manta or whatever here in just a bit. Let's make sure my headset's about to die here. All right. Tesla. Quite interesting. Okay. Tesla, very, very interesting. Okay. This is something that we talked about last week, and it's good to continue to look at it, especially with the volatility it's had. But last earnings, right? Last earnings, we had a gap down of 7%, right? 7% gap down. If we mark off this, pretty much the exact same, 8%, right? Pretty much the exact same. The thing that worries me is look at the sell-off it had before it actually decided to bounce. It was another 10% sell-off. So for now, it tends to fill its gaps, right? It has a gap here on Tesla that it got filled quite quickly. So that's pretty much what you really, really want to watch right now. Now, if I go to a weekly, oh, what am I doing, man? What am I doing? Say it's Monday. It's Monday. Focus, focus. All right. If I go to a weekly here, right? Let's see where our volume levels are at, right? That's something I like to start with for sure. I'm just gonna favor that ish. All right. The bottom of this overall move is right here, which price entered on this candle. All right. Here you go. So essentially, we did look at this on Friday. Now, for Tesla here, right, we did get a break of structure on the weekly, and price is trying to do something. It's not doing very well. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of buyers. Obviously, we would want to see a very aggressive candle like that. If we were to consider anything to the upside, right now, downside is the biggest bet you got, right? In order to go lower, sometimes the week needs to start off green before it can turn red, right? It's just how trading works. But in this case, on a weekly time frame, the bottom of this range looks really good. 160. If price gets down to 160 on Tesla, I'm probably gonna buy a decent amount. At least if you can afford 10 shares, guys, you at least pick up 10 shares down there, $1,600 for any long-term portfolio, something you can hold in a Roth IRA or something. Great value at 160. Now, the biggest thing is keeping an eye on how it treats 160. Now, if it comes down, if it just one day comes down to 160 and it's blows right through it, that's probably something you don't want to consider. But in this case, if you get something where it bounces like this, has a bullish day like that, then you can get it roughly in the high 160s, maybe 170. I wouldn't buy it above if you get 190s, maybe if you can get that discount down there, it's pretty good at roughly the 160s. But I do think it has a chance to go back to 160, and we'll wait to see how the price reacts in that area, right? But for a shorter term type situation, here, obviously the opening gap there, massive imbalance, but let's just turn that off for now. You can see here 4 hour is technically bouncing off a recent a swing point from back in May, which is a start. Right now, sometimes Tesla can fill its gaps pretty quickly. So essentially, I would not look for that unless it actually breaks and closes over the high of Thursday, so the day after the earnings. Right, the high was 192.83. So I would look for that break. 192.83 and hold strong candle to actually give us something worth talking about in this case. Now you can see it can gap up into these gaps, which if that happens, look what happened the previous time. Once this got broken, it was on a gap up. The minute it got inside of this gap, it decided to fill it immediately. So look for something like that if that occurs. If it does gap up above that tomorrow or something, look to see if price immediately goes and returns to that within a day or two. But I think there is a high potential of getting way better value on Tesla, but we have to wait to see how the price reacts, right? Do you see the trend line across the top? Yes. See that trend. So in this case, if you wanted to pull a range here, you could. In this sense here, I would take it even as low as that. This is pretty rough mark off here. It's That's pretty rough. You have your high. There was a high, it broke, then came back down. So it's a pretty rough range here. I mean, but it is a channel in a sense. That's why even if these lows were to line up there, you probably want to take it as low as, I don't know. See, that's where, like, on the weekly, if we were to pull in here as well, I mean, even this here, and then that even, see, that broke out there. So it's kind of, I mean, it's hard to say there. Like, that's just it's a weird formation, I will say. But massive gap on that daily that we're going to look to fill. So it does seem like this could be, we're going to have to see some strength here. On this weekly, very bullish if it does come up and kind of retrace back to this low. So 207, which is very aggressive move. So that's something that I would watch for. 207 retest of these highs, as well as this previous low it bounced. But I mean, you're more than likely going to get an imbalance at the end of this week here. And it's more than likely it's going to at least test a new low. But we'll kind of keep an eye on it this week. Tesla can do some crazy things. So Elon comes in, says he's going to dedicate more time to Tesla or some craziness like that. Then it can easily get pumped. That guy can move any stock. But that's kind of probably what people are kind of keeping an eye on right now. So yeah, below 160 would be awesome. But let's see if we can get in the 160s first before considering a buy. So Tesla. I would say bearish right now. Until we, like I said, early time frame, but bearish long term, obviously. If it breaks out, fills this gap. If it gaps into that gap, it probably will close it. All right. It's just, for long-term investing, that's the biggest part about what we do here. We want to get you guys in for a healthy move. Manta. I think we just talked about this. Somebody said. Looks like the $100 winner is going to win. Guys, we're at roughly 70 likes. We try to hit a goal of 100 likes. So if you can, smash the like button. And also subscribe, guys. We're live every day. Every day, 1 p.m. Eastern. So we would really love to see you back in here tomorrow. Manta. I know somebody said. All right, we'll just go over. Manta on Binance. There we go. This is a newer one. I think we have looked at this 1 or 2 times. Bybit. That's 372 on that. Let's see. Bybit spot 372. Okay. All right. I'm going to look at Binance. Binance. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. 677.20. I might look at this on. Let's look at Python now. I'm trying to find the. Looks like Bybit is the. I'm looking at the volume down here. You can't see it, but Bybit looks like it has the most volume. All right. Wow. Just incredible structure. 4 hours, incredible. No really reason to look at the daily. It's hard to even judge a daily chart in this case. Very weekly, not even close. Look at the 4 hour, 1 hour. In this case, we've talked about it. We discussed the idea of holding over the BOS. You got that. It was over this high too, which is good. If I just draw a line there, you can see. Oh, if I draw a line here, you can see that price held perfectly off of that. Seeing a candle like this, the turning point. This is once again, here's your highs, and here's your lows. So this is a pretty decent bullish pattern. So breaking out of that would be even better. For now, though, if it were to reject that high and break below it, there you go. There's your bearish stance. But in this case, 4 hour, bounce off that lovely candle close on this here. Definitely going to take a trade of 362 into this high here. Body close 381. Very, very, very short trade. But with this reject. Yeah, Mickey is your Hikanashi man. He could discuss Hikanashi probably quite a bit. If you want, make sure to join the Discord. All right, so completely free. Mickey does free live streams, and he could probably go over that in the Discord with you. If you have questions about how to use it with that, I know he's used it in the past on a few strategies, but evidently he's correct on the not accurate entries and exits because it's just like the overall idea of Hikanashi, and you have to full on understand it before actually trading it. It's going to look really good, but you have to, it's not correct, other than if you understand how to actually trade with them. So Mickey will go over that, can go over that in actual stream in the Discord, completely free. All right. Manta though, this is the fight right now. It's looking like we're starting to get a bearish formation. Right, let's look at the 1 hour here. And here you go. We've talked about this yet again. We like for structure to continue properly, right? We like to see support over structure points that are printed, right? We have a printed BOS here, but look, when it came to retest that, it never found support above it. I would have really wanted to see price hold above this when it retraced. So actually, this current state, not a huge fan of this being bullish. I will say that Manta here, though, on the oscillator, still setting higher lows. But look, it's trying to break it. So keep an eye on this right now. We are setting, a lower high too on the 4 hour or on the 1 hour here. And again, this is the level. This BOS here is what I would watch. So if you want to consider an actual level to potentially get a reset. Oh, oops. I'll go back. 36869. See if that holds. See if price holds over, you could just say 372, but there's to be precise 36839 previous high. You have a very there's no imbalance there. But if price does want to hold this, it could easily come back and break out, but bearish below that level, bullish above it. Okay. That's on the 1 hour. But I don't like I said, this is 15-minute rejecting that same high. What I don't like is the fact that this already retested that structure point and didn't fully hold above it, which means there's weakness being shown, right? There's a lot of weakness being shown. So Manta right now, there is weakness being shown, but again, if it's over that level, definitely leaning a tiny bit bullish, but weakness as of now compared to that weekly chart that I just looked, or sorry, the daily? No, 4 hour, my bad. 4 hour chart was just so strong for a while, and now it's starting to show some weakness. So just be careful. Next one. Make sure I'm not on some. Give me some. Give me some. Give me some. Bop. Matic. Mr. Matic. Matic on Coinbase. We gotta love our Matic, man. This thing has had such a good recent reversal setup. Gotta love the start of it, right? Back into this range. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Let's start with the daily. Get our fixed range profile. See what we're working with, Matic. What you got? What you working with? Let's start here. When did this price point enter? Yeah, roughly there. Bop. All right, here you go. What you working with? All right. I mean, guys, this is pretty typical range formation, right? Got a nice volume. Nice volume. Coming in. Here's the thing. This is why the oscillator is super important in this case, right? We are starting to showcase that reversal, right? It's not a confirmed reversal. It's showcasing a potential reversal. Lower lows on the oscillator. Lower high, look. Now, that's a terrible line, but in this case, look, lower high here. I can't really draw that continuation, right? This one here never came up to that point. So seeing this here, that is actually would be considering a structure break on the oscillator, right? This thing's trying to break the last lower high. The fact that it's trying to break the last lower high that's on the oscillator, really good sign for a start of a bullish reversal. Now, the other cool thing is price came down on the daily for Matic. It swept these lows very easily. Swept them. Well, not that easily, but it did sweep them. Sweep the lows. Now it's back up inside this range. So, in this case, right now, we would want to see this continue just a bit and break out of this point here, right? When lined up with that low, break out, and then I want to see support off of that. So this level right here, draw a little box, got that high. This level right here, gonna bring it over, just like that. That's a nice little structure point. If it can come up a bit, show me that it wants to break. If you turn on, go back to the imbalances here. We turn on, look, fill this imbalance. Let's fill that imbalance, come back, retest 80. I mean, it lines up perfectly. Retest 80, show support off 80, and then I think it's going to go touch the top of this range at 90. Matic looking really good right now on the daily for a start of a reversal setup. Is a start, right? For those of you that know me and know any type of trading, I would always recommend like accumulating positions over time, right? If priced at a good value, that's when you consider buying. When it returns to another good value, you consider buying it. When structure is forming properly, you can consider buying it. When structure is forming in an opposing factor, you consider selling it. Simple as that. All right? It's the biggest thing. Safa, 1 p.m. Eastern, every single day. Sorry that you're late to the stream, but make sure to hit the bell as well. You'll get notified from when we are live. But you can always go back and watch it too, so we give you that option to make it easy. All right, but again, guys, here you go. Here's Polygon, Matic. And I mean, you can't make this up other than this structure's beautiful. It came down, bounced, hit a high, came down, now it's trying to bounce again on the weekly. You almost had a full hammer close there last week. Great signs all around for Matic to consider this level. Now, let's look at one more time on the weekly. This would be quite interesting. A fixed profile. Now, this whole range here you would play. And there you go. We're right at the POC roughly. POC sitting at 90. Remember, that's what we talked about, top of range. Would be something to consider. With that structure holding up, which is good. Not a huge fan that it had that change character and didn't hold above it. But for now, if, on lower time frames, some of you are, very short-term traders, this is the bottom of the range, right? You could consider this a very large range. Always look for low sweeps if you can, what you got, and then rally. So we'll see how this actually holds up. Overall, though, Matic right now, remember, we want to break above this of 80.66, 80 cents, all right, 80 cents, 80.66, if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it does. And then once it's fully broken, let's fill this sell side imbalance here, some sell imbalance sitting there. Let's fill that at 82, go back, hold support on 80, and then let's look for 90, okay? We'll watch that this week, see if we can get some type of structure set up like that. But from here, let's move on to our next one. Obviously, if it doesn't break above that 80.66 is not and actually like give you a confirmed breakout, it's not worth the trade, okay? Always know if it doesn't go to plan, then don't trade it. Always plan to trade, don't trade to plan. All right, the pound and the yen, right? GBP, JPY, pound and the yen. We're doing GBP, JPY right now. Like I said earlier, we could actually go to. Do you use the oscillator for entry? I do sometimes, yes. It depends on the setups, but I do use the oscillator sometimes for entry. Man, this stream's flying by. All right, we got to get into this. I'm sorry, guys. If we have time for, we went over the Nasdaq early on, so you can go check it out at the beginning of the stream. But guys, we're at 81 likes. Come on, let's get up to 100, please. I want to hit that goal today. Come on. All right, we are top of all-time highs, right? Or no, it's not. It's not all-time highs. It's honestly, I'm curious now. We were way off. But this is interesting, actually. Look at the weekly here. Wow. This is an aggressive weekly chart. This weekly, you got a lot of lows lining up with a lot of highs. So this is definitely something that is not too great that we're getting into this. Now, obviously, yet again, I'm going to touch on this over and over again. If you trade Forex, you trade crypto, honestly, any market, obviously sometimes these altcoins don't necessarily react to these, but this is a big one for especially Forex, guys. Tomorrow, right, we have consumer confidence at 10 a.m., okay? Just know that. We also have FOMC on Wednesday at 2 Eastern, okay? Just know that, please. We got Fed interest rate decision. Doesn't look like they're going to cut. They're predicting the same. But we'll maybe get an outlook for 2024 yet again, which is going to cause some crazy volatility. If we get a good outlook, we're going to pump. So we'll see. But that's something to pay attention to with anything, right? Going to sell that sentiment. Yes, Powell coming in hot. All right, so a lot of buy-side inbounds coming up on into this high, which is interesting. But I would say that you could stay bullish here, right? Okay, here you go. This is a great example, by the way, for those of you that want to look for proper setups for like a trend breakout or a trend continuation. On the daily here, on the pound versus the yen, this is what we talk about with the change of character all the time, or any break of structure, right? And it happened here. Essentially, you got that change of character. Notice price blew through that. That's a first good sign, right? If you get a change of character with a large candle, that's very strong indication, right? So you look at this BOS with not a large candle, it's just sold off from there, right? But in this case, large change of character candle, you get a 2-step retracement. This is money, right? You pretty much inside bar setup, right? You get a 2-step retracement here, and then you get a full rebound off of a single daily candle. That there, with a support over change character, with bounce off of imbalance, this here, in my opinion, great buying opportunity, especially after a change character, and a Chach plus. But here you go. Buy off of that on 85. You target upper order block just like that. That's exactly how I would have traded this. In this situation, though, price slowing day after day. Wicks to the upside. Wicks. Now you're getting a full body close so far. You got 2 hours, right? But you're 3 hours. You're getting a full body bearish close, which is not a great sign. So this is definitely exhausted at this level, and we could have identified that based on the order block sitting there as a potential spot where it might have some trouble. Now, that being said, this thing is slowing at this point, but is it slowing for a bullish reason or is it slowing for a bearish reason? That's kind of what we're waiting on. Now, the biggest thing here, oscillator was extended on that move, which is not entirely the best. It did come down. This is also what we said, guys. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low on this thing. Lower high, and it busted this structure. This structure broke here, right? Boom. Broke here. Look what happened. Fell off right way before the change of character. This is why we say the oscillator can help identify early reversals, right? This thing broke down on, you could even confirm it on this day, which is a bullish day. On these 3 candles, you had that break there on the oscillator. This thing immediately flipped and flushed bearish. Now, I'm not going to say that you should trade that every time. I'm just saying that's a great way to get early indications of that trend reversing. Early indication trend reverses here. Essentially, I would wait for a Chach, which you got here. Huge sell happened there. And then retracement reject off of the Chach there, which happened here. We got 2 candles and then a bearish candle. Pretty solid move back down in that case. But there you go. That's a big setup. Somebody said welcome 50K. What's up? Bitcoin going 50K right now. That'd be sick. But yeah, we were bullish on Bitcoin. You can go check that analysis back in the stream at the very beginning. That's the first thing we went over. We're going to touch on a little bit at the end as well. All right. But yeah, for now, still bullish on this as long as it holds, this imbalance here. It's probably going to need to retrace a bit due to extend it on that time frame on the daily. But if we go to the 4 hour here, you can see it's actually come off. I don't like that this was saying lower high, lower high, lower high. It broke, right? But notice once again, Chach. Look at that Chach. Not a strong Chach there that formed. Even at this point, I would have wanted to have a close over, right? Didn't happen. So it failed, right? This is failed move so far, and it's retesting these lows. So if you get a strong push into this imbalance as you're sitting here, right? You get a strong push into this imbalance through 187 on the 4 hour. I would look for a bearish setup to target these highs here. But if it comes down to these highs, shows support here off 185 to 186. Okay. Let's say 185.50 to 186. That's what I would say. Somewhere in this area, that's where I would look for a potential bounce on, that higher time frame move. Let's go to the daily, right? That's right here, right off this high. So there is a possibility this could help, but we'll see. It's actually nice to see this here, these highs lining up with this. That could also be significant, so let's keep an eye on it. But there you go. For now, 4 hour, not a big fan of the bull case, but I will be if this thing completely bounces off of this 187, 187.10. If it bounces from here, comes back up through high 180s, 187s, then you're looking good. Okay, but for now it's not looking great. Not looking great. Looks like a downside. Looks like it continue the downside. All right. Short term though. Short term downside, long term possibly upside if it gets a proper retracement. Okay. Next one we have what? We got 17 minutes. Looking good. ICP. We're gonna start forcing the wheel. ICP. ICUP. Classic. All right. This was actually interesting. This is, the reversal we look for. So the weekly time frame. This thing is absolutely cranking. Hey, I'm here. Thanks for the money, my friend. Oh, yeah. What's up, Young Hustle Chimp? What's up? Young Hustle Chimp was also another one of our winners this past week. And guys, make sure to vote how we should give away $300 on this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully you tune in, and potentially, if you won before, you can also win again. It's very possible. So we'll see if that occurs or not. But in this case, this Friday looks like we're probably going to do the 3 $100 winners yet again. So stay tuned for that. But for ICP, okay. So this did fill all this imbalance over here, right? And it's rallying now, which is interesting. You had another week that closed bullish. At the top of the stream here, you can vote. But it looks like 53% are leaning 3 $100 winners, so we'll probably do that later on in the giveaway process. We might just override the 3 100 and do 1 300, just kind of mix it up a bit, but we'll leave that for later on. Right now, weekly does look it did extend on here, but this is rough. It's rough when price action on ICP like this is like super low volume, then it's strong volume, because then you get this extended on any oscillator, right? So this is more Drew's. My goodness, more news heavy. This is more news heavy, bouncing off that previous high though into all this sell side imbalance. So looking good for the move. So far looking pretty good on the bull side. That's on the weekly, right? Daily time frame. This was, your recent swing off that high. Price blew through the 618. So, that didn't really matter to this asset, to this crypto. Notice this though. If we pull on the weekly here, off of that swing low to that high, you can see 50% retracement was in play. We go to the 4 hour yet again. And you can see here, it came down to the 50% retracement on the 4 hour, and it bounced perfectly on the daily. 50% retracement right off of this large volume traded area. Now, this is also a bull flag break in this case, okay? You had a bull flag form on the daily. It broke out. Now it's holding. This is exactly what you want to see for a trend reversal. Now, this $12 value is perfect, actually. $12. I would say, you could give it 1180, 1150 would probably be the lowest, I would say. Even 1150 is kind of rough, but it did bounce right here off 1150. Bull flag break, looking bullish so far. 4 hours, fantastic, honestly. 4 hour broke out, came back, it's retesting. The only thing that's interesting is this BOS here happened and kind of already held in that range and broke out, touched that high order block there. But what's nice is that it came back down and now has treated as support again on 12. So here's your levels. Essentially, I would be bearish if it breaks $12. Just say 12. It's hard to be better than that. 12, but you could essentially, if it breaks 12, show a little bit of support at 1187. That's why, on a higher time frame, we were saying 1187 probably your good hold price, but for now, $12 if you're on a low time frame would be ideal. Short-term traders, 1187. Long-term traders, you could hold through 1180s to maybe see it come down, maybe fill this buy and bounce here. But here you go. I mean, this was pretty dead set as one of the best, for those of you guys that know, this is one of the best trend reversal setups, right? You got a head and shoulders, right? You got left shoulder, right shoulder, and your head. This is exactly what you want to see. For if you ever see this formation, has a very high probability of playing out. A lot of people trade this, right? So that pretty much played out perfectly. Hit that upper order block. Price is holding now, so long as it's above $12, I would be bullish on it on a 4-hour. But if it does break 12, then I definitely would be bearish. For the short-term daily, we said, I mean, pretty similar. It broke out of that rough bull flag there. And this is an extended bull flag. I would have actually wanted to see it just a few days of a bull flag and then break. But same concept, lower lows, lower highs, and then breaks, right? Holding above a previous high. It's a great concept so far. So this daily be nice to see over 1268, and I really like it for maybe a breakthrough 13 this week. But the weekly, you have this week going on. The weekly, here you go. Weekly right now, we would really want to hold over 1233. Otherwise, it could, honestly, you could have another red week like that, and it comes down to 11. So weekly 1233 would be my hold on that. All right, but $12, really important. We got 4 more. We got 11 minutes. Let's see what we got next for us. The Euro, USD, Duro. Oh, what am I doing? I'm trying to spell it out exactly the way it's supposed to be. All right. Daily. All right, so here you go. Done this a billion times, but you have your range, right? You have your range. This came down, was finally showing structure on the daily. We get fixed range profile. Here's your low breakout into here. Boom. There you go. So for those of you that were here, let's see, last week, you know, we discussed the fact that when this was outside this value range, it looked really good. When you get a nice candle close above, structure formed properly, looks really good for a continuation. You got a brief continuation, then rejected these highs. We're back in this range, back below the point of control. And look, now we're selling off, right? So in this case, you know, coming down to 107, it's a great target. 107.5 actually. 107.5, great target so far on the Euro daily. That would be right where that imbalance bounced before. You're setting perfect lower highs. It's just the daily does look bearish. But what's interesting is you do have a bearish, it's extended into the oversold territory right now on this daily time frame. But I'm not a huge fan that it broke below the point of control. But this range is heavy. It's a heavy range. So very possible for it to come back down. You keep saying lower highs. Again, in this case, price came down. It was rejecting, you know, the fair value gap that the change character happened on, which is a good sign. But notice it is not much volume that's pushing this too much lower. So if you were bullish, it's pretty easy, pretty simplistic move here. Bullish here over 109.337, which is the high of this lower high. 109.324, 109.324, yeah. But here you go. I would say that price, but bearish below it, right? So in this case, I would still consider it being bearish on the daily. If we go to the 4-hour here, I mean, it broke these lows, you know, rejecting. There you go. You have a 107.8 that you could essentially target. You have another, you know, order block sitting there. You just got another change of character on the 4-hour. It's not that strong, right? But again, the reason we want this to break is because this was in a range already to the upsides. So if we were to like even just mark off like just 2 pretty basic levels here. The lows got treated here, right? Blew through there. Highs got treated there. So, you know, it's pretty, a lot of volume was in this little range here, right? Off of there. So essentially you would really just want to break through this high 109.324. If it gets through that, you're looking bullish for that reversal setup. But for now, since it's below that, then not too crazy. But I mean, if it gets over 108.5, then you can start like waiting. You know, you wait for that potential setup. But for now, definitely bearish on the daily, and as you can see, 4 hours still hasn't fully extended here, and it's setting lower highs. It just broke this structure here on the oscillator too, so this could be definitely a temporary thing. This temporary little bounce we're getting on this 4 hour, but it broke this here. Not a huge fan of, so we'll see. We'll see how it does, but definitely bearish right now. Okay, 4 hours is always an interesting one though to keep an eye on. All right. Let's see here. On to the next. Got about 7 minutes. Go over 4 more. We can do this. From here on, we'll just pick the... Oh, look at that. Perfect. PayPal. PayPal shocking the world. All right. Daily. All right, PayPal. Let's go look at the weekly. Let's look at these high time frames here. Finally. Here you go, guys. Also, if you've been on stream, you know, we like to look for these large gap in divergences that form on the oscillator. We had that large gap divergence form, right? We came up, we broke this structure on the oscillator right here, up here. So definitely is beginning to identify that this level might be significant in the 50s, right? 60, 50 area. So starting to look actually good on a weekly here for PayPal, right? Just due to the structure even on the oscillator. Oscillator was forming, showing bearish structure now, divergence, bullish divergence, and it broke out here. Now let's see if price actually wants to, or see if the oscillator wants to come back down. We get some bullish money flow. That'd be cool. Let's go to the daily. Dive into the strict price action. All right. This is quite interesting. Okay, so obviously daily, guys, overall trend. Downtrend. All right. Massive downtrend. Sure, overall trend. Honestly, we could just do a little bit of finessing here with trading view tools. Yeah. Oh, rotated rectangle. Boom. There you go. Let's bring that down just a tad there, and we could even squeeze it in a little bit. So here you go. You have a rough like little range there on a trend side, but it's forming as if like, you know, it's reacting like it's there, right? Which is big. Now, this is quite interesting. Look what happened here. This day, on the 22nd. Now, of course, we do have earnings on February 7th. That's a big factor, okay? Big factor. We can look at the earnings next week before it occurs, right? But look at how we gapped up on this day into this gap here, or this imbalance sitting, but we never rallied through the rest of it, right? That's a good first sign, though, that we might continue, right? So in this case, though, as you can see, price was setting lovely higher lows. We got a lot of volatility with all the news going on around PayPal. We have earnings coming up, right? Wells Fargo, here you go. We got this today. Wells Fargo raises price target on PayPal to 60 from 55, which is interesting because it's sitting at 63. So a lot of interesting crypto ideas coming around the whole PayPal company. But for now, the volatility is there. So people are starting to identify PayPal might be a good buy. So it's a good thing to see this volatility come in. You know, if I just search and add volume here, you can see the volume peaking here and having a lot higher volume difference. So I will say right now, above 60, it's bullish to me. It's bullish to me above 60. The biggest thing, guys, with investing in any stocks, though, is something where I want to direct you in the overall financials of this company. So waiting for this earnings report coming up. So quarter one, or honestly, it's reporting quarter four. But getting the data from this is really going to drive where this might go. We can look over it, come closer to PayPal's earnings, but for now, this value's decent. It's decent. You're seeing a lot of buyers versus sellers. A lot more buyers on these ends here in the 60s. So it's definitely not a bad spot right now where it's at. I love that it came back down. I love that it bounced. And now it's showing a little bit more bullish price action in a way. But a decent amount of gaps forming too. So we'll see. It's seeming as if it's considering this. I would be leaning 60% bullish right now. So we'll keep an eye on the numbers. We'll look at that, later on into next week. Or wait. Maybe not. Wait, what did it say? The 7th. So it is the 7th. The 7th is their earnings. So we'll keep an eye on it come the 7th. We have Solana and Avalanche, last two. Let's start with Avalanche. Oh, my friend. We can honestly, you could probably pair it with Solana. Very similar. All right. Avalanche. Here you go. This is another thing why, once again, oscillators in the play. And why you need multiple levels of analysis to understand where this might be heading. So in this case, in my opinion, change character formed. We came up, we retested it, had a bearish day here, right? But notice something quite interesting. This is very interesting. On this bearish day that formed here, right? The day before, we had a bullish turning point. I don't fully, seeing that is, we say put them next to each other. I mean, we can do that for sure. Let's do it. Give me Solana. Oh. That's quite interesting to see I'm going to do price indicators. Okay. Candle coloring is a little different, but that's just default for trading. All right. So here you go. Similar to Solana, we had on that bearish day, on Solana, that bearish day had a bullish turning point, which is quite interesting. It's something that, this is why you want to look at multiple levels in this case. For Avalanche, though, this thing didn't come far down as Solana did, but just broke its structure point yesterday, which is awesome. Looks really strong right now, which is good. Healthy retracement. If you pull up, our Fibonacci off the lows here, boom, 50% retracement, something we were watching on everything, right? 50% retracement confirmed. Lovely candle. It's a very great bullish reversal candle in this sense. Comes back, retraces, tries to reject, change character, fails, breaks back out. Now it's essentially testing the highs of this technical trend. In this case, though, this is starting to look good. We'll see if we can get a change of character form somewhat up here. And then I would like to see buys off of 34 again. I need a second time buys in the low 30s for me to consider an entry off of this if you're not already in it, right? Then you target, 40s. This thing obviously does make runs by itself, regardless of technical analysis sometimes, as you can see through this massive imbalance buys. But look at this come down right into this imbalance, find perfect support, and then rally off of that. Right now, daily, definitely bullish. 4 hour, even better. This is a great range where this order block's forming. Great spot where that's forming for a potential breakout point. In this case, yes, let's see 36.75 break. Then you're probably going to see some decent moves up to like 38, 39. You have this, 40 is probably end target right now. You can see that massive wick that formed at the 40s. That's something I would consider a high right now to target. But it needs to get through that. It needs to get through 36.75. For Solana, though, those of you that were on stream, we talked about perfect buys under 80, and I'm just leaving this golden drawing up because this is exactly what we were looking for on a bounce side because of these recent highs, because of the recent lows that formed back in early 2022. I mean, everything lined up in this case. I think this was the high of the golden pocket as well. Actually, it almost hit the 50% retracement, but it was also inside that golden range we always watch for. Daily time frame here, like we said, coming down into that imbalance, as well as that BOS there we had to the upside and completely bounced right off it. So below 80, beautiful buys. For those of you that got in that, man, $100 already, which is awesome. Right now, though, this is our first level of resistance to talk about is 103, 102, 103. Going into the 4 hour, I'm trying to be a little bit faster here so we can end the stream for today. But again, top of this is high volume, right? Highs and lows formation. Always high volume on highs and lows. Always going to show some posing orders coming in. $100 price point's a great spot to start considering resistance. Let's get over 103.80s to consider this a bigger bullish move. 103.80, 104 is probably even better to talk about. But 103.80s is lining up right there. 103.5 to 103.80 would be great for Solana. Right now, though, great bullish price action. Oscillator just flipped to bullish money flow, higher low formed on that move. The only thing I don't like is that it had this higher low. But again, this was during bearish money flow. So this thing coming back down and forming a new higher, in this case, higher low, this could be a generalized bull flag setup in a sense, similar to what we like to see here that's forming. So see if that gets that breakout through 80 again. Love the small reset on this 4-hour move. So looking really good. $1.10, it needs to, I need to see 103.5 break, and then yes. 103.5 break would be great, and then I like that move, okay? So that's what I would watch for, guys. But we are definitely past our time here. So, man, we didn't hit our like goal for the day. Probably because we didn't alert everybody. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Solana, we'll come back. No contest. Mickey said no contest, so we get no giveaway till we get a 100 like goal hit every day. I kind of like that, guys. If we can cram that to 100 likes right now, we will do this giveaway. What an enticing thing right now. Let's go. We got 3 likes away. Come on, 98, baby. The vote is 3 $100 winners yet again. We need 100 likes right now. Come on, and we'll give away. We'll do it. Let's go. One more. Come on, baby. One more, and we'll do it. 99. Did anybody say? There it is. Bam. All right, we're doing it this week. Mickey, good job. Good job. Mickey had a good suggestion there. If we don't hit the 100 like goal every day, we're not doing the giveaway. So I entice you to hit that like button when you join. We hit it though. Thank you guys. Awesome. Hit the 100 like goal. Again, you guys voted. It won 3 $100 winners. Still a close race. Maybe you guys will come back one of these times. 207 votes, as you can see there. So this Friday, date is 1/2. Okay, this Friday we will be doing the $300 giveaway. 3 $100 winners. All right. So we appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in yet again. For those of you that are returning viewers, pretty soon we're gonna have a loyalty system. Okay. To where the more you tune in, the more possible entries you can get into these giveaways. So get ready for something like that. I have to figure out how it works. Gonna mess around with it a bit, but it would be awesome to continue to see you guys returning. And hopefully, you know, we get to continue bull run on this. Once again, though, remember, it's really important is news this week. Okay. So one more time on the economic calendar, tomorrow we have the consumer price index at 10 a.m. Okay, 10 a.m. tomorrow Eastern. Be careful. On Wednesday, 8:15 pre-market, about an hour and 15 minutes before market open. Very important news coming out. It's going to set the sentiment up until FOMC. Now, a lot of times FOMC days, it's very choppy before the minutes come out. Okay. So it might be very dead volume on early Wednesday until we get that FOMC report. So be ready for that on Wednesday. But then come back tomorrow. If we didn't analyze anything that you liked today, come back tomorrow. Suggest that we'll try to do new things every single day. But remember, we're always going to do the majors. And honestly, anything that's actually considering a nice chart that's moving really aggressively, we'll definitely look over. So guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Hope you had a great weekend. And Dame, our other winner. We have all 3 of our winners in here today. I love it. Awesome. Yeah, come back Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Know how to enter in the weekly giveaway, and we will see you then. All right, guys. Follow our Twitter if you want market updates every day throughout the entire day, not just on our live stream. Join our Instagram or join our Discord. It's absolutely free. Link is in the description. Mickey does live streams in our Discord before our stream even airs, and also posts the links to those live streams. And those are more LuxAlgo feature based. So if you're into learning more about LuxAlgo, look at all the links in the description, as well as join the free Discord. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow, and have a good rest of your day. See ya.